There are going to be people in this world that try and belittle your success. It's natural, it's normal, right? A lot of people love to put others down because it makes them feel better, or if it makes them feel some type of way like they're special. But those people are always going to exist, always. So, what do you do about it? You let it ride. You live your best life because only you know what your life is like. On the outside, sure, people can try and compare, try and contrast, but only you know how much you put into your growth. What do you do that nobody else sees? What is it? Are you meditating? Are you doing push ups? Are you talking to people? Are you going outside your comfort zone? Are you learning other languages? Right? There are several things I do for my personal growth that not everybody sees, and that's okay. That's legitimately life. You don't have to put everything you do in front of a camera. I feel like a lot of people need to also hear that, even though it's pretty, straightforward, right? But we live in a world where everybody has cameras on them all the time. And I'm not talking just surveillance. Some people purposely put cameras on themselves, the Instagrams and the TikToks and Twitters and everything. Everybody wants to show off the greatest points of their life. Very, very, very few people show the worst parts of their life. I've been one of those people to actually show the hard times that I've gone through. Not on YouTube per se, but on Instagram. Whenever I've had my depression moments, I let people know, yeah, man, I'm sad. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, sometimes I don't feel right in the head. And I don't say it for just like a cry for help, which, obviously it is a cry for help. And I think you should, if you feel down, you shouldn't feel ashamed to want to have to cry for help. We live in a world where a lot of people want to say, oh, it's okay to cry, it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that. But to be honest, people will still look down on you for doing so. But I personally still encourage you to do so because it'll make you feel better at the end of the day whenever you realize, hey, I went through all this stuff. And when I reached out, there were a couple people that helped me up. There are a couple friends that checked on me to let me know, hey, whatever it is you're going through, you can get through it. I'm here to let you know whatever it is you can get through, you can get through it. It's a weird sentence structure, I know, but whatever it is that you are also going through, you can get through it if you want to. It's super easy to fall down a spiral, right? Especially if you're doing drugs, if you're drinking, and you know, stuff that try and numbs the pain. Whenever that numbness goes away, it makes the pain 10 times harder. So remember that you still have people around that care about you. Even if it's not friends, even if it's not family, there are strangers out in the world that you can legitimately talk to. If you just sitting on the side of the road and somebody's like, "Oh, how are you?" You be honest, "I'm not having a good time. I'm not having I'm sad." And it really came to me in a dream. Like, to be honest, like I had a dream last night. I was with my family and we were going to like a resort, and I ran into this guy and he's like shaking and stuff. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm not having a good day, blase blase." And the first thing that came to my mind was, "Do you want to talk about it?" And I think I don't like when I say like my dreams are, they're not premonitions. I wouldn't say that. I would say like my dreams are like an extension of, you know, how, not necessarily how I'm feeling, but how I'm changing as a person, right? So before I joined the military, I would have dreams about that. And they were dreams that were so strong, I would legitimately like wake up out of bed. I would jump out of bed in attention. And this is months before I even go into service, right? So for me, like me and my connection with my dreams has always been strong. So I that's why I really wanted to make this video, say like if you're going through something, it's cool to let people know. Hell, it's cool to let me know. If you're in my community, if you're in my Discord, you can always DM me. Be like, hey, I'm going through some stuff. I was just talking to a friend recently. They got in trouble at their current job, and all I could tell them is it's out of your hands, bro. Like all you can really do is apologize for it and move forward because that's legitimately all you can do. And he's telling me like, yeah, I'm stressing. It was a big opportunity, and it's like there's big opportunities all the time, brother. There's always somebody looking to hire. There's always somebody looking for somebody else to help them, right? So if it's in your heart to entertain or it's in your heart to do something and in a collective, in a group, like you want to join something that's bigger than yourself, there's always potential. There's always opportunity. There's always moments, right? But to join stuff like that, you definitely need to know who you are first. If you don't know who you are, man, you're going to be struggling trying to fit some collective. You're going to be trying to figure out, oh, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Bro, if you're doing it right is if it feels good for you. And the only way to do that is just know who you are, right? I, I try and teach that every time I come on camera, man, you got to know who you are. Like I know who I am. So it doesn't really affect me when I get compared or I get thrown into a statistic. I'm not really worried about that, right? Everything I've done up until this point, it was more on a whim or how I felt, but I didn't truly know myself until about 2.5 months ago. Like, of course, I knew myself about 80%, but it's like now I know myself 98%. 98% way better than 85%. And I can't give you 100% because that's still in the future. Who knows what could happen next, right? I can only meditate, I can only learn so much in time. It just goes with time, and you have to want to put in the effort, right? So, of course, I'm also talking to myself when I make these videos, right? I'm not just talking to you guys. I'm also talking to myself, which is why I decided to make this video in here because you can't see it, right? The POV is I'm looking at the camera, but I'm looking at my laptop, and on my laptop, I can see myself here. I'll give you a quick glimpse, right? So when I do the reactions, it's like this, but I can see myself on scene too. So it's really hitting home. When I'm making these videos, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself. Because everything I do and what I put into the world, I want it to be a reflection of who I am. Because I know I'm a great person. I know I'm a good guy, right? I know that I have a lot to give when it comes to helping other people because that's legitimately just what I want in life. And to let you guys know this, and I learned this from my Muay Thai instructor, Danny, right? Danny, he's a good guy. He is a great guy. He cares about his family. He cares about training. He cares about physical growth. And he's already done his spiritual growth because he's older than I am, right? And he's been around the world more than I have. And when I told him, I was like, I'm happy I met you. He said, everything happens for a reason. And he asked me, why did I tell him that he's a good guy? And I was like, because you are. And I feel like not a lot of people get to hear that. So I'm here to let you know, like, you are an amazing person. You're a good guy. And there's not a lot of good guys like us in the world. And he said, that's true. All the good guys are actually hiding because it's not safe for good people to just be out. And I felt what he said. I felt what he said. There are legitimately evil people that are in control. But I don't let that fear cloud my behavior. You know, there's not really much that I'm afraid of, but I know that, you know, it's honestly worth, at least for me, it's worth doing more good and being more open about doing good than trying to fit in with like evil and badness. Like, there's a reason why I stopped doing like the VTuber news reactions because it was basically just punching down on Niji Sanji. And yeah, I get it. Niji Sanji is a black company, right? But there are still people within the company who I personally believe, they just signed a bad deal. You know, they signed a bad deal. They don't need no extra. Like you guys are punching down on them enough. They don't need me to jump in and add my 2 cents on whatever, right? So that's why I started turning my content around, which is going to be reflected in the future, right? So the more people that come around, shout out Full Moco AI, shout out to Carturo, shout out to a lot of people. A lot of you guys are actually good people as well, and I'm so happy to have you guys, be around. And I'm more excited to know that, hey, there's going to be more people in the future that show up that actually understand that human growth is more than just like a quick meditation. It's something that you have to purposely, it's a route you purposefully have to follow if you truly, really want to grow, right? Because I've made mistakes in my past with like ex girlfriends, and I'm like, oh, I changed, right? Because I got more life experience, but it's like I didn't have more personal experience. So even when I tried to, double back, apologize, I'm done apologizing. There's no reason for me to apologize anymore because now my connections are stronger than any of the old ones ever were, right? I have people blowing up my phone all the time now. And it's a blessing and a curse because I know that, what my words say, they are helpful, but I don't, I'm one human, right? So this is why I also want to, create a group of people that are also good as well. So it's like, even if I'm busy, I have my friend here who's, maybe they're um, a physician or maybe they're a neuroscientist and maybe you want a more academic response to whatever your question is. That's the person you can talk to, right? So that's why I build connections with lots of people of different backgrounds because there's always something that I can't teach. I know somebody that can teach it, right? So my purpose, at least how I feel right now at 26 years old, who knows what happens in the future, right? But at least my purpose right now is to try and help better the world by me personally making connections with people that can help you if I can't do so, right? Obviously, it's a super crazy and ambitious goal, but it's better than any other goal I could have ever really wanted, right? A lot of people's goal is just make a lot of money. It's what you do with your money that makes a difference. You can only have so much money. And even when you have so much money, a lot of people fall into the hole of wanting so much more. These things to me, it's cool. It's cool to have the money and the ability to do anything whenever you want to. What you do with that money, of course, is up to you. But for me, it's more how can I impact my community? Like when I see people like Snoop Dogg, he's doing all these different things, but he's also helping his community, giving back, doing like the school programs and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's whatever skeletons in Snoop's closet. It is what it is, right? We're all human. We all have skeletons in our closet, which is why I also say you need to understand the good and the bad when it comes to yourself. 100%. Because if you only focus on the good, the bad's still there and you haven't even touched it. So you need to figure out what your bad is. Everybody has a bad side. Some people they're quick to anger, they're quick to violence, right? That's something people got to work on. Some people substance abuse, something they got to work on. Some people it's lying, something they have to work on, right? For me, I think my bad side was always trying to fit into a crowd, always trying to put myself in positions even though I'm not familiar with. I just want to be in them because it makes me feel good to have a bunch of friends, right? So I think now, it hasn't changed, right? And so my bad side would be wanting to be with a bunch of people, right? Having to have a lot of connections. This definitely can be a bad thing. So how can I turn it to a good thing? Well, let me get connections, but actually know the connection. It's cool to have 800 contacts in your cell phone and maybe 30 of them are famous people. But if you only talk to them to just show off to somebody, what kind of connection is that? Versus you send a text message and then whenever they get time, they respond back and they ask you how your day was because you asked them how their day was first. Right. So me personally, what I've done with my bad side, I've decided I'm okay with being the side character in other people's lives. Everybody is the main character in their own life, but some people want to be the main character in other people's lives. For me, I'm okay just being the person you go to if you just need some help or you need a quick motivational boost. But I'm also going to be the guy to tell you, I can only motivate you so much. You need to put the effort into yourself. Because if you don't, what's the point of listening to me yap for 14 minutes? Now, it'll probably make you feel good, but once the video's over, bro, you still got to go and do your own thing. So that's enough yapping. We're about to hit the 15-minute mark. I'm gonna go ahead and do some VTuber clips because that's what you guys like. Not like providing a service. So until the next video, I don't know when we'll do another video like this. Maybe we could if y'all want to. I enjoy doing the ones in the backyard because it gives me some outside time. I get to listen to the nature and stuff like this. But this one is definitely more personal. So you let me know which one you prefer, or if you're just fine with either one. If you're fine with either one, it's fine with me. All right. Till then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye bye.